Hey guys, welcome back to Planet Tyro as we continue our look into international animation. And this time, we're gonna go to Africa. Sort of. Now, this is a story based in Africa, but it actually wasn't created by an African, which really doesn't matter. But when I look back on animation, I guess there isn't a lot of big budget movies set in Africa that aren't dealing with animals or, you know, like The Lion King, or maybe The Jungle Book counts, or Penguins, or Madagascar, or whatever, Madagascar in general. I don't know, man. I don't remember seeing like a male or female male protagonist, a central protagonist that's African, set in an African setting. I guess we've got Black Panther coming up, but I found one right here, and this one's interesting because it actually has some interesting developments as things have evolved with this franchise throughout the years. Let's take a look.
Tyro Media.
We're talking about Kirikou and Kuraba the Sorceress. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Now, this was a 1998 animated movie that was actually created by a French gentleman. I forget, it's Christopher Osthoff. I put his name on the screen. And basically, he was inspired by a lot of West African folk tales and traditional stories, and, you know, stories that are told to children. And it inspired him to create this story. Now, what the story is about is this African village that is being terrorized by this African witch. She's killing all the young men in the town, and he's cursing all the women in the town. And basically, one day, one of the women in the village gives birth to a boy. When the boy comes out of the womb, he just walks out of this woman right after birth, walks out talking. And it's crazy. When you see this animated movie, he's just talking, "Hey, mum, what's going on?" And he's completely sentient. He seems very intelligent. And when the boy finds out what's happening in the village, that all the townspeople are being terrorized, he takes it upon himself to save the village from this wicked witch. And it's a very curious story. Now, because this story is based upon fables, the structure of the story is kind of like the trials of this boy. Like, the witch will do something to the townspeople, and the boy would kind of figure out how to get them out of it. And the boy himself is very charming, very intelligent, very wise. One thing I'll notice, I think one of the most noticeable things about this movie right here is the animation. The animation style is decent, nothing outstanding in particular, but the one thing that stands out the most about the animation is the nudity. Now, I think the director was trying to be more honest to, you know, traditional African tradition where a lot of the females didn't wear bras, especially in Africa, and the men held shields. But the nakedness, I guess it can throw you off. I watched it, I felt a little bit weird, but I knew that it was just being honest with the material. And because of that, apparently there was a delay because it was released in 1998 in Europe, but in America, I think it was delayed for 2 more years because of the nudity. So getting back to the story, the boy goes through these trials. I think we've seen this before if you've seen like children's cartoons, you see this kind of thing before. But the boy has a certain charisma that is really fun, and it's in English dub. So I found it in English, which is great because, you know, it was done in France, but it was naturally done in English. You can actually find it on YouTube. I might put a link to it on the description. I don't know why. It's just easy to find on YouTube, and it was fun. The movie was fun. I liked the parable, the fairy tale element was just a lot of fun. The ending of this first movie was kind of creepy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna call it a twist, but it was like, alright, that's kind of creepy. But in terms of fairy tales, I've seen this being done before. But at the end, that little baby boy pulled some shit where I was like, what the hell are you doing, boy? No, don't do that, boy. That's wrong. I'm not gonna get into spoilers, but that was kind of funny. Now, the most interesting thing about this movie is, although I haven't heard of it, I've never really heard of anything to do with this movie, it's actually turned into a franchise because every couple of years they've made sequels. Now the sequel movies, which I put pictures on the screen here, because this first movie, it kind of tells the story from beginning to end. The sequels are told in between the first movie, so they're kind of like prequels, but they focus more on this young boy and more of his journeys, more of his misadventures, saving the townspeople. Because by the end of the first movie, his encounter with the witch is over. So they go back in these other future movies, and because the movies are made in 2002, 2012, I think, they have better animation. They use flash animation, CG animation. I haven't watched the other ones, but this was very, very well received, this series. And you can buy it on DVD. It's actually got a wide release, and it's actually funny that we had to get a Frenchman to make an African movie, because I always thought to myself, Disney have gone all around the world telling these stories from different nations. Mulan, Pocahontas, you know, Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid. It seems like they've gone to all these different regions. But when it comes to Africa, they still haven't given us a black African story. Now, what is it? The Frog and the Prince, that, even though that was a female black princess for the first time, I still would like to see something set in Africa with an African protagonist. I think this movie showed me that we can have something mainstream. And I know when you think of Africa and the tradition and the tribe, you do think of the nakedness, you do think of slavery. So it's very hard to make a story that's tasteful and traditional and play it to a younger audience. And this movie does that, although it does touch the line with the nakedness. But I kind of want to see something like this on a bigger scale. But this movie on the whole is very good. I would give it like a low solid B. It was very watchable. The thing I like the most about this little kid is that I felt like I was watching The Legend of Zelda, because in this first movie, this little kid goes on this adventure, going through these puzzles, and I felt like I was watching The Legend of Zelda in Africa, the kind of adventure this kid was going on. But I'm curious to see these other movies, and again, it's nice to see, again, a movie set in a different region, although it's technically a French-African movie. Still, I love the attention to detail as a traditional African movie. It's really cool. I would recommend it. It's definitely worth a watch. And as I said before, you can see it on YouTube, so why not? And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. You know, we're celebrating international animation on the channel this month, and I hope you've enjoyed the content so far. Hit that like button if you like the content. Leave a comment down below if you've seen this video, or if you want to just share your opinions on the movie and anything else we're doing here. But also, hit the annotation on the right to all the other stuff we're doing. We've done on Planet Tyro for a very long time. Thanks for watching, and again, I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Peace.